Jingling Jangling Joggers. Written by Elaine Reese Wyman and illustrated by Rita Friedman. Jingling Jangling Joggers. Mr. J collects junk. I like to jumble all the junk all over myself, he says. Jumbled junk makes wonderful sounds. Mr. J likes to hear the sound jumbled junk makes. Mr. J hops, plippity-plop goes the jumbled junk. Mr. J jumps, clinkety-clank goes the jumbled junk. Mr. J jogs, jingle jangle goes the jumbled junk. Jingle jangle is Mr. J's favorite sound. Sometimes Mr. J jogs with the other joggers. Your jumbled junk makes wonderful jingling, jangling sounds, smiles the joggers. I wish I could make those sounds, says Jim. So do I. So do I, shouts all the joggers. Mr. J feels very proud. At home, Mr. J has an idea. He looks at all the jumbled junk. Here is junk that jingles, he says, and here is junk that jangles. I will attach a clip to each piece of junk, and I'll carry all the junk out to my truck. Early the next morning, Mr. J drives to the jogging track. He unloads the truck. Then he hides behind a tree and waits. Soon the joggers arrive. Look, cries Jill, I see jingling, jangling junk. Let's jumble it all over ourselves like Mr. J and jog. The joggers clip jingling, jangling junk onto themselves. Mr. J hears wonderful sounds. The joggers begin to jingle and jangle and laugh. The joggers see Mr. J. You have made jogging so much fun, they said. By sharing my jumbled junk makes me feel happy, says Mr. J. I'll bring jingling, jangling junk to the jogging track every morning. Mr. J works hard collecting his jumbled junk. Each morning he leaves piles and piles of junk at the jogging track. The joggers cannot use all the jingling, jangling junk. Soon junk topples all over the jogging track. The joggers cannot jog. This is jingling, jangling junk everywhere I look, says Jim. We cannot jog. We are going to trip on all this junk. I have to tell Mr. J to stop bringing his junk. You can't do that, says Jill. You'll hurt Mr. J's feelings. I have a plan, says Jill. We'll ask joggers from all over to come to our jogging track. They'll listen as Mr. J jogs. Every jogger will want jingling, jangling junk, and all the junk will get used. Then we'll be able to jog without tripping over it. And Mr. J's feelings will not get hurt. Ooh, that sounds like a perfect plan, smiled the joggers. Jill tells Mr. J her plan. He is very excited. My job will be to find more and more junk, says Mr. J. No, shout the joggers. We'll share the junk you brought us. Then what will my job be? Asked Mr. J. Oh, to clear the jogging track, said the joggers. Soon joggers arrive from everywhere. They watch and listen as Mr. J jogs by. The sound of his jingling, jangling junk is wonderful, they exclaim joyfully. We want to jog as you do, Mr. J. So Mr. J helps each jogger attach junk. And everyone jogs together. Mr. J feels proud. The joggers decide to have a club. We'll call ourselves Mr. J's Jingling, jangling joggers, they said. Let's have a joggers jamboree every month, says Mr. J. I'll bring piles and piles of junk. Oh no, says Jill. I don't think my plan is working. Soon it's time for the joggers to leave. Each jogger takes a box filled with jingling, jangling junk. Jill looks around the jogging track. Every piece of jingling, jangling junk is gone, she says. Don't worry, says Mr. J. I'll work all day tomorrow and bring piles and piles of junk to the jogging track. Oh no, sighs Jill. What am I going to do? Next day, there's junk all over the jogging track. Jill calls an emergency meeting of Mr. J's jingling, jangling joggers. She shows them the jogging track. I don't want to hurt Mr. J's feelings, she says, but we can't jog here. What are we going to do? The joggers talk about the problem. Finally, they decide what they must do. Everyone works together for many, many weeks. At last, the work is finished and the problem is solved. Now, alongside the old jogging track is a new jogging track. The joggers have a jogging track for jogging, and Mr. J has a jogging track for jingling, jangling junk.